Man, look at my beautiful ass wife. This is what you call a mission complete. My wife was like, babe, can I go step out and have a few drinks with the young ladies, the girls? I said, babe, you goddamn right. I said, you tell them one thing, that you taken and you spoken for. See that big old rock? Yeah. I did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. Hey, y'all see my chain? Look at that. Them bullets.
On March 30th, 2025, at 4:35 a.m., Alexandria Police Department responded to a disturbance call at a residence on the 5900 block of Ron Marr Drive in Alexandria, Louisiana. Upon arrival, officers entered the home and discovered two deceased individuals. The first was a 38-year-old female, identified as Shaterrica Smith. She had sustained a gunshot wound. The second was a 42-year-old male, Tracy Johnson, who appeared to have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No other persons were present in the residence. A firearm was recovered at the scene. Preliminary investigation by the Alexandria Police Department classified the case as an apparent murder-suicide. The crime scene was secured. Evidence was collected. Autopsies were scheduled. Investigators began reviewing the couple's recent activity, communication history, and any prior police reports. Public records and social media indicated that the two individuals were recently married. Photos posted online in the days prior to the incident showed no visible indication of conflict. There were no prior reports of domestic disturbances filed with local law enforcement related to either party. The residence showed no signs of forced entry. Neighbors reported hearing loud noises shortly before the police were contacted. Detectives canvassed the area for surveillance footage and witness statements. As of this report, the Alexandria Police Department continues to investigate the case. They have requested that anyone with information contact the Detective Division or provide anonymous tips through Crime Stoppers. A cash reward may be available for useful leads. This is a full story of every move, every brutal detail. If you're captivated by real crime stories that peel back the layers of truth, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us as we uncover real cases, raise awareness, and give a voice to the voiceless. Before we dive into today's story, we want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? And how do you feel as the story unfolds? Welcome to Deadly Crime Unmasked, the show where we expose the shocking crimes that rip through communities and the chilling secrets lurking behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. You won't want to miss the gripping story that's coming up. Now, let's dive in. Shaterrica had married Tracy Johnson shortly before the incident. Recent social media posts describe them as newly married, portraying a close couple that shared photos and captions indicating life as newlyweds. Public records and social media indicate she was a mother of two, though specific details like the children's ages or school enrollment are not public. She had ties to the local community in Alexandria. Shared profiles and limited reports suggest involvement in local civic groups or perhaps a place of worship, though no verified membership details are available. No confirmation of her employer or specific church was found. Elle Media shows Shaterrica as a working adult who shared everyday moments online. Social media posts include casual routines and occasional expressions of reliability, such as consistent presence at work or group events, though no explicit qualifications like job title or employer are listed. Social posts describe her as loving fiercely and noted endurance through unimaginable pain. These general descriptors align with public remembrances, but do not specify her occupation or daily routine. There are no police records, public complaints, or legal documents indicating any domestic violence involving Shaterrica or her husband prior to the shooting. Reports show no prior disturbances at their address. Their relationship appeared normal to external observers. Their social media profiles featured images showing Shaterrica and Tracy smiling together. Posts from both accounts celebrated their relationship, with captions conveying joy and mutual appreciation. One Facebook-based clip described them as the couple everybody wants to become. No public warnings or legal interventions. There are no police records suggesting that the couple had previously been involved in any domestic disputes or disturbances requiring law enforcement intervention. No prior protective orders or domestic abuse allegations are associated with either individual as of the time of this report. Neighbors living on Ron Mar Drive in Alexandria, Louisiana, later told law enforcement that the household had been quiet in the days and weeks leading up to the incident. No unusual activity was reported. It was a residential area, and the couple's home was considered a regular part of the neighborhood. No one in the area had raised concerns about any public arguments, threats, or altercations occurring at or near the residence before March 30th, 2025. Between the late hours of March 29th and the early morning of March 30th, events occurred that led to the deaths of both Shaterrica Smith and Tracy Johnson. While the precise time of the incident remains under investigation, it has been confirmed that a 911 call was placed by nearby residents at approximately 4:35 a.m. The call was placed after neighbors reportedly heard either a loud disturbance or what they believed to be gunshots coming from the couple's home. At approximately 4:35 a.m., officers from the Alexandria Police Department were dispatched to the 5900 block of Ron Mar Drive following reports of a domestic-related disturbance that involved gunfire. The initial call triggered a fast response from both patrol and detectives from APD's Criminal Investigations Division, alongside support from local media outlets, such as Rapides Parish Journal, which confirmed the start of a criminal investigation into the incident. Upon arrival, officers made entry into the residence. Inside, they located two deceased individuals. 38-year-old Shaterrica Smith, who suffered a gunshot wound. The wound was determined to be fatal at the scene. 42-year-old Tracy Johnson, found nearby with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Alexandria police classified the situation as an apparent murder-suicide. The agency has stated that the case is still under active investigation, led the response, conducted preliminary scene assessment, coordinated evidence handling, and is leading the forensic and ballistic investigations. Assigned detectives to process evidence, interview witnesses, and trace the sequence of events. Confirm key details including the time, location, phone numbers for tips, and Crime Stoppers' involvement. Reported the timeline, victim identities, and ongoing status of the investigation. Integration of law enforcement and media sources ensures the delivery of consistent factual information to the public. Investigators collected multiple key pieces of evidence before processing the scene. At least one handgun was recovered. The make, model, and whether it was registered remain under investigation. Discovered near both bodies and in adjacent areas consistent with a shooting incident. Each casing was bagged, tagged, and logged for ballistic testing. Swabs were taken from surfaces near both individuals and potential shooters. These samples are being tested to confirm proximity to discharge. Fingerprint lifts inside the residence, blood spatter patterns, and potential DNA evidence were all documented and collected following standard crime scene protocol. Collected evidence was secured in sealed containers and transported to APD's crime lab, then forwarded to the Louisiana State Police Forensic Lab for detailed analysis. This step is crucial to establishing whether the gun was fired by Johnson in a self-inflicted manner or by an unknown third party. At this time, no arrests have been made beyond the discovery of the deceased parties. There are 0 suspects at large, 0 active warrants, no formal charges filed. The lack of an arrest is due to the ongoing nature of forensic analysis. Authorities are awaiting critical results, including ballistics comparison between recovered shell casings and the firearms, gunshot residue distribution on both individuals, determination of the trajectory and range of each gunshot, evaluation of any digital evidence, phone records, security footage, or electronic messages that could establish motive or sequence. Detectives have confirmed that conclusions and charges can only be made once these lab results are completed, which typically takes several weeks to a few months. In the days following the incident on March 30th, 2025, Shaterrica Smith's family issued minimal public comments. Most interactions with the media were either through written statements or brief comments to local reporters. No extended interviews were granted, and no live press conferences were held by direct family members. A written statement released by a relative on behalf of the family included the following key points. They confirmed the identity of the deceased as Shaterrica Danielle Smith. The family acknowledged the tragic events that occurred on Ron Mar Drive. They requested privacy during the investigation and expressed appreciation for public support. The family also stated that they were cooperating fully with the Alexandria Police Department regarding the ongoing investigation. No additional statements were made by extended family members as of the latest available reports. The victim's immediate family did not publish further updates via public-facing platforms or social media pages. It remains unclear they plan to hold a memorial event or if one has already occurred privately. On the side of Tracy Johnson, the alleged perpetrator, no known statements were made by his family. His relatives have remained silent in both traditional and digital media spaces. Local journalists attempted contact through known addresses, but no response was recorded. As of the last report, no relatives of Tracy Johnson had responded to public inquiries. The Alexandria community showed widespread concern following the release of the police report identifying the case as an apparent murder-suicide. While there were no organized protests or large-scale community gatherings, several citizens expressed concern about the broader pattern of domestic violence cases that had occurred in the region. In interviews conducted by local news outlets, several residents raised the following concerns. The incident occurred without any prior known public conflict, highlighting how domestic violence can remain hidden. Some community members questioned whether law enforcement had overlooked any warning signs. Concerns were raised about the accessibility of firearms in domestic settings, especially in homes with no known prior history of violence. Social media commentary reflected similar sentiments. Many Alexandria residents posted about the need for more outreach programs, awareness campaigns, and preventive education. A few nonprofit organizations active in the state of Louisiana shared resources about domestic abuse and provided hotlines for individuals seeking help. Church groups and local support centers offered counseling services for people affected by the news. Although these were not directly linked to Shaterrica's family, they were offered to the general public in recognition of the mental health strain that such cases can place on the wider community. The Rapides Parish Women's Shelter released a public advisory on their website following the incident, stating, "This is another tragic reminder that domestic abuse can happen silently. If you or someone you know needs help, we urge you to contact a trained counselor immediately." Several local schools also reportedly discussed the event internally with their staff, although no formal district-wide communication was issued about the incident. As of the latest police update, the Alexandria Police Department continues to investigate the case. Although both individuals involved are deceased, the department confirmed that their investigation will proceed in full due to procedural requirements. A full forensic analysis is still underway. The Alexandria police released the following facts. The bodies were discovered at approximately 4:35 a.m. on March 30th, 2025. Both Shaterrica Smith and Tracy Johnson were found inside their home on Ronmar Drive with fatal gunshot wounds. Initial ballistic tests confirmed that a single firearm was involved in both deaths. The firearm was located at the scene and recovered by police. Preliminary autopsy reports supported the narrative of a murder-suicide, but a final forensic report is still pending. Delays in forensic timelines were attributed to a backlog of cases at the state crime lab, the need to verify firearm registration and ownership, toxicology screening for both individuals, additional DNA analysis to confirm handprint positioning and firearm discharge residue. Authorities stated the final case file will be closed only when all forensic processes were completed, despite the clear sequence of events. Investigators also confirmed that there was no third-party involvement and that the scene did not suggest forced entry or external interference. The Alexandria police also extended an invitation to the public to share any last-minute tips or information via their hotline or Crime Stoppers. A monetary reward was offered for verifiable leads, but none have been confirmed as of the last departmental update. Though the investigation is largely closed from a criminal standpoint, the case has generated renewed interest in the detection and prevention of domestic abuse. Public health experts and local advocates have highlighted the following issues based on this case and similar events. Many cases of domestic violence remain undetected until they escalate to physical harm or homicide. In the case of Shaterrica Smith and Tracy Johnson, there were no prior 911 calls, restraining orders, or visible signs of conflict. Experts note that emotional, psychological, and financial abuse can all precede physical violence without leaving obvious clues. The murder weapon in this case was legally owned and kept in a shared residence. Advocacy groups have noted that firearm accessibility in homes with relationship tensions can lead to deadly outcomes, especially in emotionally charged moments. Mental health resources, family counseling, and domestic violence intervention services remain underfunded or underutilized in many parts of Louisiana. Advocates argue for increased community workshops on relationship safety, hotline promotion in public spaces, school-based educational programs addressing early signs of coercive control, encouraging bystander reporting. Neighbors, co-workers, or extended family members often see warning signs before tragedy strikes. However, without clear evidence, many feel hesitant to report. Community policing programs encourage anonymous tips and welfare checks if subtle red flags appear. Importance of data collection. Law enforcement agencies are encouraged to collect more consistent data on domestic incidents, even nonviolent ones, to establish early risk profiles. The Shaterrica Smith case demonstrated how limited public records can hinder prevention efforts. Survivor advocacy and legislation. While not directly connected to this case, several advocacy groups have used the opportunity to call for stronger protections, such as emergency protection orders with extended validity, mandatory waiting periods for gun purchases in cases with known relationship conflict, funding increases for domestic violence shelters and emergency housing. The case involving Shaterrica Smith and Tracy Johnson remains under forensic review, but has already sparked regional discussion about domestic violence, firearm safety, and preventive education. Law enforcement continues to finalize reports, while community organizations and public agencies call for systemic changes to detect and stop domestic violence before it escalates. The investigation is expected to conclude in full once all forensic results are submitted and reviewed. If this story gripped your heart and left you questioning the truth, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with others who need to hear it. For more chilling true crime stories that dive deep into the mysteries behind these tragedies, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest updates, investigations, and thought-provoking discussions. Thank you for being part of this journey with us as we uncover the truth and seek justice. Together, we can make a difference. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.